All right, so in this video, I'm gonna actually teach you guys how patients dropping off our schedule actually made us a lot more money in the long term. And ultimately, what we started to notice is that patients were coming in and we would do the evaluation, they would show for their second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth appointment, and then all of a sudden they started to cancel all their appointments or they would drop off. And when we started to call patients and lean in and see what was going on, is we weren't met with disappointment. We were met with raving fans. It was the craziest thing in the whole entire world. It was like,
oh my gosh, no, nothing's wrong at all. I just feel significantly better and I no longer need to come in for physical therapy.
And I thought that was really, really interesting. It was good, but then at the same time, it was also frustrating at the same time because we knew that they actually needed more care, or else what was gonna happen is that injury was either going to come back or they weren't gonna be able to fully heal and be able to hit whatever their performance goals were. Patients dropping off the schedule, we started to notice that they were, now if they fell off at visits number 2 or 3, because we had a lot of providers, it was mostly a continuity of care issue. But individuals that were falling off the schedule between visits number 5 and visit number 8, a lot of times it had to do with I'm not in pain anymore, so I don't need to come in for treatment. And that's where we found out that a lot of times that, while that was good, one of the constraints we had on our business is that patients were coming in for therapy, they were getting out of pain, not necessarily better, but out of pain. And then what was happening is that we would hear from them in a couple weeks that their pain came back. And that was getting really frustrated. And actually it's kind of interesting because hospitals actually get dinged for that, where if they have a surgery and they discharge the patient home and they come back to the hospital, readmittance are not good, right? So it's not a good mark on the hospital. So we started to look at this thing as just well, how can we start pre-framing our patients more to let them know that hey, when you're out of pain, you're not stopping therapy. So what we ended up doing is that during the evaluation, we would map out, we would obviously diagnose and we would come up with a prognosis and we would develop a plan of care. And patients, when they were coming in and they were going through that process, we would then let them know that hey, I just want to let you know, based on our results for your condition, we can get you better in 6 visits or less if you follow exactly what we tell you to do. And we say it with a lot of confidence and authorities. Patients are really bought in. They're oh my gosh, that's amazing. And then we would do what we like to call a push-pull. And the push-pull was just but just because you're out of pain doesn't mean you're done with your treatment. And what we have to do next is now we got you out of pain so that we can actually fix the root cause of your problem. And this is where a lot of PTs fall short, is because the patients are better and they don't know how to handle the objection, and we don't handle the objection when it comes up because it's very hard. And this is a really interesting point that I heard is imagine someone's standing on a street corner and they're trying to hand out $100 bills. And they come up to you and you're hey, here's a $100 bill, and here's a $100 bill, and here's a $100 bill. And what most people do is they're what's wrong with it? Is it counterfeit, or did you steal it? Or they're no, I just want to give you a $100 bill. And if you don't believe me, there's a ton of YouTube videos where people try to go out and do goodwill and stuff like that and social experience, and people don't take money that people are just trying to hand away. They're very skeptical about it. However, when someone gets hurt, or someone acts hurt, or someone maybe hit their head, and now they're bleeding and stuff like that, and it's just oh my gosh, let me help you, right? So the same person that you try to give $1 to, if that person's walking across this, or not $1, but $100, and that person's walking off the street and then falls, and you ran over to help them, they'll let you help them when they're in pain, but they're not gonna help you when they're in pleasure. It's kind of a very weird thing that happens, but most people buy things because they have a need or a want versus, no, I'm good, I just wanna buy things to buy things, right? Very rarely does that occur. Same thing happens with our PT patients, our chiropractic patients, or our massage therapy, or OT, whatever that is that once people get a result and they're doing good, they're gonna be well, why would I come in and keep spending money when I already got a result? So that's why we have to make sure we let patients know that, hey, we expect you to get better in 6 visits or less. However, that's going to then allow us to fix the actual root cause of your problem. So if it's weak, we got to make it stronger. If it's tight, we make it more flexible. If it's stable, we got to make it a little bit more mobile. Or if it's mobile, we got to make it a little bit more stable, right? So it just depends. And then what happens is we got to actually fix the root cause of your issue so that we can then go to the next level, which is performance, which is actually getting you back to the thing that you want to do that you weren't able to do because you had pain, discomfort, and we weren't able to fix your mobility, flexibility, strength, and now we could actually get you back into performance. And then the last level is prevention. But that is one of the easiest ways that we were able to get patients who are dropping off the schedule to actually come in, complete their plan of cares, which, by the way, if you actually extend people out, and we're not squeezing visits out of people, we're just giving people the visits they need to get better, then that takes the demand off the marketing. So if your length of stay goes up or the amount of visits per new patient goes up, then your marketing demands go down. So it takes a lot of pressure off your marketing when you actually have and you fix your operational side of things. So that is one of the easiest ways that patients dropping off the schedule was able to help us grow and make more revenue, but also in turn help patients get better the results, and that's the most important part. So if you guys are liking this content, go ahead and hit the follow and subscribe button above. And if you guys want to figure out where your constraints are and how this principle could work in your business, go ahead and click in the description to book a call with our team, and we look forward to speaking with you, and I'll see you guys on the next video.